It starts with a phone call. A panicked voice says, "Grandma, it's me. I need help." Your heart races. Your instinct takes over. But what if that voice isn't really your grandchild? The grandparent scam is back, and it's more convincing than ever. With AI-generated voices, fake caller IDs, and emotional manipulation, even the most cautious seniors are falling for it. Don't be the next victim. Here's what you need to know. The grandparent scam has been around for years, but it's no longer the simple trick it used to be. Today, scammers are using cutting-edge technology to mimic real voices, spoof familiar phone numbers, and craft emotionally charged stories that feel painfully believable. This scam works because it preys on love. It strikes at the exact moment you stop thinking and start acting, when you believe your grandchild is in danger. And that's what makes it so dangerous. In just the last year, reports of this scam have surged across North America and Europe. According to the Federal Trade Commission, seniors have lost over $35 million. 0 cents to imposters pretending to be family members in distress. And that's just the cases we know about. This isn't just a warning, it's a survival guide. In this video, we'll show you exactly how the scam works, the emotional traps that make it so effective, and the smart steps you can take to avoid becoming the next victim. Because the most powerful defense is being prepared. So, what exactly is the grandparent scam, and how does it work? It usually begins with a phone call, often late at night or early in the morning, timed perfectly to catch you off guard. You answer groggily, and on the other end is a voice that sounds just like your grandchild. They're frantic, panicked, and say something like, "Grandma, it's me. I'm in trouble. I was in an accident," or "I've been arrested," or "I'm stuck overseas without my wallet." In that moment, your heart drops. You're not thinking logically. You're thinking like a grandparent. Your first instinct is to protect. Then comes the second part of the trap, secrecy. The voice pleads with you. "Please don't tell mom and dad. They'll be so angry. I just need your help. You're the only one I can trust." By now, the emotional hook is set. You feel needed, responsible, and desperate to fix whatever has gone wrong. That's when they ask for money. Sometimes it's a few $100s, other times it's thousands. They'll say it's for bail, a hospital bill, or to replace lost travel documents. But there's a catch. It has to be fast. They'll ask for the money through wire transfers, prepaid gift cards, or even cryptocurrency, which are nearly impossible to trace or recover once sent. And because everything feels so urgent, many victims don't pause to question it. They act quickly, believing they're doing the right thing. Only later do they discover it wasn't their grandchild at all. It was a stranger with a script, and maybe even a stolen voice. In some of the newest versions of the scam, AI voice cloning technology is being used to make the fake grandchild sound even more convincing. Scammers need only a few seconds of audio, often taken from social media or a voicemail, and they can replicate a loved one's voice with frightening accuracy. This isn't just a prank gone wrong. It's a deeply targeted attack that uses emotion, urgency, and technology to deceive people when they're most vulnerable. And because it happens so fast, many victims don't realize they've been scammed until the money is long gone. That's why knowing how this scam works is your first and best defense. Because once you recognize the pattern, emergency, secrecy, urgency, and an unusual request for money, you can stop it in its track and protect not just your finances, but your peace of mind. What makes this scam especially terrifying today is how advanced and convincing it's become. It's not just a stranger pretending to be your grandchild anymore. Now it can sound exactly like them. With AI voice cloning, scammers only need a few seconds of audio, something pulled from a TikTok video, a YouTube clip, or even a voicemail left on a public phone number. That's all it takes. The technology can recreate tone, pacing, even emotional expression. So when you answer the phone and hear, "Grandma, it's me," it doesn't just sound familiar, it sounds real. And that's not the only trick they're using. Scammers are now spoofing caller IDs to make it appear that the call is coming from someone you know. It might say Emily Mobile, or show your grandchild's actual phone number. You see a familiar name and instinctively let your guard down. But what you're really hearing is a rehearsed lie delivered through a web of stolen data and manipulated technology. They're not guessing anymore, they're preparing. Scammers mine public social media accounts to gather information that makes their story more believable. If your grandchild recently posted about a trip, the scammer might say, "Grandma, I'm stuck in Mexico. I lost my passport." If they mention being out late with friends, the scam might involve an accident or arrest. The more details they find, the more real the story sounds, and the more likely you are to believe it. This level of customization is what sets today's scams apart. They're no longer broad, generic schemes. They're personalized, engineered, and they're built to hit you right where you're most vulnerable. Your love for your family. That's why this version of the grandparent scam is more dangerous than ever. Seniors, especially those who didn't grow up with this level of digital manipulation, are often less familiar with how technology can be used deceptively. We're used to trusting what we see on caller ID. We believe in the sound of a familiar voice. We assume that if someone knows personal details, they must be who they say they are. But in this new world of AI, social engineering, and spoofing, even the most attentive, tech-savvy adult can be fooled. This isn't about being gullible, it's about being targeted. And once you understand the tools scammers use, AI voice cloning, fake caller IDs, and publicly available social media, you begin to see how easy it is to fall for something that feels urgent, emotional, and completely real. That's why staying informed is your strongest protection. When you know what to expect, you can pause, you can breathe, you can ask the right questions, and you can protect yourself and the people you love from becoming the next victim of a crime that's only becoming harder to detect. To understand just how devastating the grandparent scam can be, you only need to hear from the people who've lived through it. There's Anne. She's 76, widowed, and lives on a fixed income. One evening around 9 p.m., her phone rang. The caller ID showed her grandson's name. When she answered, the voice on the other end was panicked, crying, "Grandma, I'm in trouble. I had a car accident. I'm at the police station. Please don't tell Mom and Dad, but I need help." Anne's heart sank. It sounded just like him. He was always a careful driver. She didn't even think, she just asked what he needed. The officer took the phone next, calm, official sounding. He explained that bail had to be posted immediately to keep her grandson out of jail. $10,000, 0 cents, paid through a wire transfer to an official holding account. It all felt urgent. Anne, overwhelmed and desperate to help, rushed to the bank the next morning and sent the money. By the time she called her daughter later that day, feeling shaken but relieved, it all unraveled. Her real grandson had been in class that morning. There was no accident, no arrest, no call. Anne was devastated, not just by the loss of her savings, but by the loss of her confidence. "I used to be so careful," she said. "I thought I would never fall for something like that. But when it's someone you love, logic disappears." Then there's Richard, a retired firefighter. He received a call late one night from someone claiming to be his granddaughter. She said she had been mugged while traveling with friends in another state. Her phone was dead, her wallet stolen. She borrowed a friend's phone to call him. She needed $3,500. 0 cents wired immediately to pay for a hotel and replacement ID. He didn't question it. He didn't want her to be stranded. He wired the money just as she asked. When he followed up with a call the next morning, his real granddaughter answered. She was fine. She had never left town. Richard said he felt sick, not just about the money, but about how real it had seemed. The voice sounded like her. She even said things she would say. "I wasn't tricked by a stranger. I was tricked by my own heart." That's the part of these scams most people don't see, the emotional aftermath. The shame, the embarrassment, the lingering doubt in your own judgment. These scams aren't just thefts of money. They're thefts of trust, of safety, of peace. Many victims don't report the crime. They don't want their families to know. They're afraid of being judged, or worse, having their independence questioned. And that silence only makes the scammers stronger. Because the more we keep these stories in the dark, the more power they have to repeat them. But when we bring them into the light, when we talk about what happened and why, it becomes easier to recognize the warning signs, easier to interrupt the panic, easier to say, wait, something's not right. Because no one deserves to feel fooled for simply loving their family. And no one should have to recover from a crime they were too ashamed to speak about. These stories matter, and sharing them may be the one thing that protects someone else. By now, you've heard how the grandparent scam works and how devastating it can be. But the best way to stop it before it starts is to recognize the red flags. Scammers follow a pattern, and if you know what to listen for, that moment of hesitation, just a second or two, might be all you need to protect yourself. The most common red flag in nearly every case is this: please don't tell anyone. That line isn't just a request. It's a manipulation tactic. The scammer is trying to isolate you emotionally, to make you feel like you're the only one who can help. They want to prevent you from reaching out to your children, your spouse, your bank, anyone who might recognize it for what it is. It sounds innocent. It sounds desperate. I don't want to get in trouble. Please don't tell mom and dad. But that secrecy is how they control the situation. If someone tells you not to involve others, that's your signal to do exactly the opposite. Another major red flag is urgency. These scams always come with pressure to act immediately. I need the money right now. The police won't let me go unless you pay. I only have 5 minutes to fix this. This kind of pressure is designed to override your logical thinking. They want to trigger your emotions, fear, guilt, love, and rush you into making a mistake. But real emergencies can wait a moment while you verify. And if someone is asking you to send money, pay attention to how they want you to send it. If they ask for gift cards, cryptocurrency, or a wire transfer to an unknown account, that's a giant red flag. These methods are hard to trace, hard to reverse, and nearly impossible to recover once the money is gone. No real grandchild would ask for bail money in Bitcoin. No police officer is going to demand Target gift cards to release someone from custody. These methods are chosen because they leave no paper trail, and because scammers know that in a panic, people may not question the request. Another warning sign is vagueness. When you start asking for specific details, a scammer often becomes evasive. If you say, "Which hospital are you in?" or "What's your case number?" they might give a generic answer or avoid the question altogether. They'll try to distract you, change the subject, or loop back to the emotional plea. "Grandma, please, we don't have time for that right now." But the truth is, details matter. And if they can't give you clear, consistent answers, something's wrong. You might also notice the voice seems slightly off. Maybe it's scratchy. Maybe they blame it on a bad connection, a broken nose, or even crying. These are excuses to cover up the fact that it's not really your grandchild on the phone. It's someone pretending, possibly using AI, possibly just good at acting, but always with one goal: to get your money fast and quietly. The moment you hear something that feels rushed, secretive, or emotionally overwhelming, take a breath, pause. Don't respond right away. Call a trusted family member, reach out directly to the person they're claiming to be, ask the questions that slow things down. Because scams thrive on speed and silence, but they fall apart under clarity and connection. And when you know the signs, you have the power to stop it before it even begins. So how do you protect yourself and the people you love from falling victim to this scam? It starts with one word: pause. When you get a call like this, everything in your body might tell you to act now, to send help, to fix the problem. But that urgency, that's the scammer's greatest weapon. If you pause, even for just a few seconds, you take back control. The very first thing you should do is hang up and confirm independently. Don't continue the call, don't answer more questions, don't engage. Just say, "Let me call you right back," and hang up. Then, Call your grandchild directly using the number you know and trust, not the one on caller ID, not a number they give you. 9 times out of 10, they'll answer and tell you exactly what you need to hear. Grandma, I'm fine. I'm at home. I didn't call you. And just like that, you've stopped the scam in its tracks. One of the most effective ways families can protect each other is by creating a simple safe word or passphrase. This can be anything: a favorite childhood snack, a nickname, or a special memory only your family would know. Agree as a family that if anyone ever calls claiming there's an emergency, they'll include that word. If they don't, you'll know something's wrong. It's easy, it's free, and it adds a layer of protection that scammers can't fake. Also, remind yourself, you don't need to rush. Real emergencies don't require secrecy and instant payments. If it's truly urgent, real help, real law enforcement, real doctors will give you the information you need and allow you time to think, verify, and respond appropriately. Scammers are counting on panic. But if you keep calm, you take away their power. It's also smart to educate your family about their online presence. Many scammers gather personal information from public social media profiles, where people post vacation photos, locations, birthdays, even phone numbers. That's why it's important for your children and grandchildren to make their profiles private and limit what strangers can see. Because the less information scammers can find, the harder it is for them to sound convincing. And finally, don't stay silent. If you receive a suspicious call, even if you didn't fall for it, report it. Contact your local police and also report the incident to the Federal Trade Commission, FTC, at reportfraudftc.gov. These reports help authorities track new versions of the scam and protect others in your community. You can also alert your local senior center or neighborhood watch group. The more people talk about this, the harder it becomes for scammers to get away with it. Remember, the goal of this scam is isolation, secrecy, speed. But when you respond with clarity, connection, and community, the scam starts to fall apart. You don't need to live in fear. You just need to stay informed, because awareness is the strongest defense. You've worked hard to protect your family all your life. Now, it's time to protect yourself and make sure no one takes advantage of the love you've spent a lifetime building. Love can make us vulnerable, but knowledge keeps us safe. That's what makes the grandparent scam so painful. It doesn't rely on carelessness or foolishness. It doesn't work because people are gullible. It works because people care. Because when you believe your grandchild is scared, in danger, or desperate for help, you're willing to move mountains to protect them. And the scammers know that. They count on that love. They twist it, they weaponize it, and they do it without shame, without hesitation, and without thinking twice about the wreckage they leave behind. But here's what they don't expect: that we're getting smarter, that we're talking about it, that we're sharing stories, and building awareness in our families and communities. This isn't just about avoiding a scam. It's about reclaiming confidence, about understanding that you're not weak for caring. You're not naive for acting with your heart. You're human. And your love for your family is something to be proud of, not punished for. So, if you've ever felt ashamed for picking up a call that didn't feel right, if you've ever rushed to help and later realized it was a scam, let that shame go. You were targeted not because you're unwise, but because you're loving. That's what makes this crime so cruel, and it's why awareness is so powerful. Because when you know how these scams work, you can pause, you can verify, you can trust your instinct without surrendering your security, and you can teach the people around you to do the same. It starts with one conversation, one shared video, one family meeting where you say, "Let's come up with a safe word." Or, "If anyone ever calls saying there's an emergency, I'm going to call you back first, no matter what." These little choices build a wall between you and the person on the other end of that fake call. If you're a grandchild watching this, know this: your voice matters. Your visibility matters. Talk to your grandparents. Remind them that you'll never ask them to keep a secret from the rest of the family, that if there's ever an emergency, you'd want them to check in, you'd want them to feel safe. Because that scammer on the phone, they don't sound like you, they just want to sound close enough to break someone's heart. Don't let them. And if you're a grandparent, remember, your love is powerful. You've spent years building trust, being the one your family can count on. That kind of love is sacred. Don't let anyone turn it into a weapon. Scammers may know how to fake a voice, but they'll never understand the strength of a family that communicates, protects each other, and stays connected. So stay informed, stay calm, and stay connected. Because when we bring compassion and clarity together, there's nothing we can't defend. You're not alone in this, and your instincts, rooted in love, can become your greatest protection. If this video helped you feel more prepared or more understood, please share it with someone you love. One conversation could protect an entire family. Subscribe to Elderly Truths for more honest, empowering stories about aging wisely, staying safe, and never letting love be used against us. Because growing older shouldn't mean growing more vulnerable. It should mean growing stronger. Thank you for watching. Stay aware, stay connected, and take care of one another.